What's going on, everybody? How's it going? You can hear me real quick. I'm just logging on, trying to make sure I get this thing going right. Do me a favor while you're on here. Let me know who's on here. Let me know where you're watching from, the name of your business, your name, and any questions that you may have. You guys go ahead and get them ready, get them started. Today is going to be a solo act today. Our fearless leader, AJ, is not going to be here, so you are going to have to deal with me today. So hopefully I can hold it down for you guys and answer all the questions that you have for us. So with further ado, let me let you know who I am. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is S. Andrew Lewis. I am the owner of Squeaky Clean Commercial Cleaning, which is in South Carolina. I'm also the owner and founder of Clean Success Academy and also Clean Success Staffing Solutions. And so with Clean Success Academy, what we do is we teach, we mentor, we coach, we kind of help people get basically not really started with their, but help them with leveling up their business and taking the business to the next level, giving them a different mindset or perspective on how to kind of grow their business. And we help them with other things also, but we're not going to talk about all of that. I'm just trying to let you know who I am. One of my favorite things to do with this kind of platform that AJ has allowed me to be on is to talk about automations. Automations is what's helped me take my business to the next level. And with automations, I don't know where I would be. Without automations, I don't know where I would be. Without AJ Simmons, I don't know where I would be. So hats off to AJ Simmons and Clean Biz Network, all the Clean Biz Network family and all the automations family. So what I'm going to talk about today, unless you guys have some questions, is some stuff that we've been working on. And I want to kind of, just kind of touch the surface of what it does and how it takes my business to the next level. And feel free as I'm talking, as I'm discussing, you guys let me know any questions that you may have. Any questions you may have, any comments or whatever it is. This is an open forum. We definitely want to hear what you have to say. I don't want to be on here just talking the entire time. I want to definitely provide value to everyone that's out there that's trying to take their business to the next level, that's trying to get out of the day-to-day working actually in the cleaning and actually cleaning the toilets and sweeping and mopping and stuff like that. If that's where you want to stay, that's fine, absolutely perfect. But if you want to grow your business, you want to take it to the next level, you have to get to the point where you're out of the business and you're working on it and not in it, right? Because if you're working in it, you don't have the time to work on it, right? You run out of days or run out of hours in a day. We all have the same 24 hours. So you have to get to the point where you are delegating and you are putting systems and automations and stuff in place that gives you the time to kind of step back and say, okay, that job is being taken care of. This job is being taken care of. Let me do stuff to help grow my business, right? So that's where automations comes into place. That's where systems come into place, So that's what we're going to talk about today for the most part. Um, and I apologize for saying a lot of ums because I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to go with this. So I'm just going to relax and kind of just go off the top of my head. So one thing I was working on, matter of fact, and I finished it to be honest. We talked about when you have subcontractors, right? You have subcontractors coming in, and if you've been a subcontractor for any other those companies like Citywide, but Citywide, and there's some other ones out there, but I know Citywide is the one that kind of sticks in my head. You're going to basically work for them. They have the account. They're going to kind of reach out to you and say, hey, we have an account for you. This is how much the account pays. This is where the account is located. This is the scope of work that we want. And they always say, you are only going to do general cleaning. They say general cleaning as if general cleaning is synonymous with everything, but no, general cleaning can be a number of things. But they'll say general cleaning. They say, this is what your pay is. You submit your invoice to us at the end of the month because they pay monthly, yada, yada, right? So at the end of the month, you're supposed to submit an invoice to them and then they pay you off of that invoice, right? So when I brought on my subcontractors, I tried to take that same model because that's something one of the things that we kind of learned in the automations course of how to bring on quality subcontractors, how to basically manage them, but not really manage them, but how to bring them on to your team and how to schedule them out to with other accounts and stuff like that, right? But at the end of it, what you have to do is you have to pay your subcontractors. Subcontractors, on the day of, if you like, if you have cash flow like that, you can pay them weekly, bi-weekly, or you can pay them monthly. I choose to pay them monthly. That's just the model that works best for me. That's the model that usually works for the larger companies. They usually pay you, for instance, if you work December, by a certain day in January, that's when they're going to pay you for the month of December, whatever you work. So that's how I do mine. So one thing that I was having an issue with is that in my subcontractor agreement, when I'm onboarding them, because that's automated too, when I onboard my subcontractors, they have to fill out a subcontractor agreement, or they have to sign it. Of course, read all the policies and stuff that we have set forth in our for our team, for our company, and they're supposed to submit their invoices. Well, I probably have actively working for me right now, I think I have 12 to 15 subcontractors that have accounts, right? I have a list of subcontractors that I can reach out to that aren't actively working, but I have about 12 to 15 subcontractors. And out of those 12 to 15 subcontractors, I think one or two of them were actually sending me the invoices as they were supposed to. Now, here's the reason why this was such a big deal for me to fix this issue. When I'm doing payroll for, say, 12, 15 subcontractors. How long do you think that would take? Right. Took a long time. And it was frustrating. And I would push it off and push it off and push it off to the last second. And then something told me, hey, why don't you just automate this? Right. You don't really realize that there's so many things that you can automate to make your life so much easier. And all automation really is, to the point, is delegating a task that you normally do. You delegate that task to something that happens automatically. You can delegate it to someone within your team, your virtual assistant, your office manager, whoever it is. You can delegate it to something else. That's, in a sense, automating it, because you don't have to do it, but it's still going to get done without you, right? So I automated that process where I didn't have to go reaching and running and trying to figure out, hey, when did you work? When did you work? Did you work all of these days? How much am I supposed to pay you? I got to remember how much everybody had, got paid. So it was such a nightmare. I went and automated the process where they would submit their invoices by a certain day of the month, right? They would receive a reminder letting them know, hey, your invoices are due. This is your first notification of that your invoices are going to be due. So everybody is required to send that invoice in. It gave them an explanation of what needs to be done. It gave them a video on how to complete the form that they needed to complete in order for it to be submitted to our office, in order for them to get paid on time. And I think I said this on the last live that we did. There was, out of all of my subcontractors, only one of them didn't do it. And I was going to pay them. I was like, well, I know how much it is. Let me go ahead and pay it. But I said no, because the policies that stated in our subcontractor agreement, if you do not do this by this time, your payment is going to get delayed. So come the 10th, they didn't get paid. And guess what? The 10th is when they sent their invoice, right? So I didn't pay them on purpose, just to see if they were going to actually do it, to see if they actually saw the reminder, and they did. Because if they didn't do it, if they didn't see it, then they probably wouldn't have sent it, right? They saw it, they just chose not to do it. So I had to stand my ground, and it worked out. So now everybody sends in their invoices on time. This past month, we got it by the 2nd of the month. And it's not even due to the 5th, because I pay my people on the 10th. So it worked out great. So that was an automation, and it saved me so much time. It was absolutely amazing. So I don't want to keep going on that. Let me see. Somebody said, let me look and see what this comment is real quick after increase my screen. So it says, just did an onboarding meeting with Citywide right before Christmas. No call yet on inquiring accounts. No call yet on inquiring accounts. Just yet. For hopefully soon. So thank you for covering this. And for some reason, I can't see all of that message on my screen. See if I can do that. All right, there we go. All right. So it says, so thank you for covering this. This is huge for me going forward. Yeah. It's not, in citywide and those subcontracting with another company is actually absolutely a great opportunity for you, especially when you're just starting out, because you don't really know how to clean sometimes. You don't really know, okay, what else, what should I do? Should I do okay, let me take that off. Sorry about that. What should I do? What supplies do I need? There's so many questions that you have when you're first starting out that there aren't, in my experience, a lot of groups out there that's going to share the information to kind of walk you through it. Unlike AJ's Clean Biz Network, he walks you through it. He breaks it down. He tells you what the expectation is. He tells you what to expect when you're going through, these situations, whether you're going to be a subcontractor, whether you're going to be the main person, the prime person. He breaks all of that stuff down for you. So that's the reason why I went with Clean Biz Network. He is so down to earth and so level on breaking it down to you to the simplest level. So, the smartest person to the not as smartest person can figure it out. You know what I mean? He makes it simple. And so, join Clean Biz Network if you're not in it. I know this is about automations, but if you're not in Clean Biz Network, you definitely need to get in Clean Biz Network to start. Then once you, kind of gain some traction, definitely move over to the automations, which is what this live is about. It's talking about automations. But hey, thank you for that message. And let's see who else is in here. Sorry, my screen's a little small, so I'm trying to see it. And okay, that's it. It looks like that's all the comments. I'm not going to be able to go to the other platforms like Facebook and Instagram. I'm not really keen on how to do that, so I'm not going to go jump back and forth. So do me a favor. If you're on Facebook and you're on Instagram, come on to YouTube. Come on to YouTube and get on here and definitely share some of this time with me. Jump in, give your comments and stuff like that. But we're talking about automations. And if you want to get into the Clean Biz automations, you want to go to Clean Biz University /automations. If you go in there, it's going to break down what the automations entails. Also, if you want to ask me here, I will tell you what's included in automations for the most part, what we provide for you in automations, how it's helped me, which is what I'm going to discuss also, how it's helped me and how it's continuing to help me. And just how it's helped me take my business to the next level, just in automating everything. Well, that's a little bit much. Let's not say everything. Not everything is completely automated, but for the most part, most of my business is automated, where I'm either getting a notification of something, a task that needs to be accomplished, or a task is actually being accomplished automatically through the system that we created. So another thing that was probably getting to me when it comes to growing my business, scaling it, taking it to the next level. And we have another comment real quick. So from Cash Craze, it says, hey, Andrew, are your VAs completely trained on how to work all aspects of the CRM? Okay, so I appreciate that question, Cash Craze 101. I appreciate that much. I'm not really talking about the VAs, but I will say this. Yes, they are, to a point. They are not experts. They're not going to be able to, do all of your automations and, connect everything. They're not there. They're basic. They know how to get into the automations. Into the CRM. They know how to navigate the appointments. They know how to do calls, emails, social media management. They can do a number of things. I have one person, one of my main VAs. Well, she actually works for me, but she's helped me with some of the kind of the groups, the portals that we've created, where it comes to subcontractor portal, client portals, and I'll explain what those are. Those are going to be discussed more possibly in the automations on the automations channel once we get off of here. We normally stay on here for about 30 minutes. And I may go on and stay on here a little bit longer just to kind of, get going. And then I'll try to get over to the group. I'm not sure if I have access to be able to go live on that, but we'll see. But anyway, so yeah, the VAs, they can do all of that stuff. And the main thing, and like I said, I'm not trying to promote it, but since you asked, I'm going to tell you, the main thing is that a lot of times cleaning business owners don't really know how to virtual assistants, right? They don't know how to hire virtual assistants. They don't know how to manage virtual assistants. they don't know how to train virtual assistants, right? And a lot of times they'll go and say, go to one of these platforms like Upwork or whatever, and they'll get their virtual assistants, and all that stuff is done for them by that company, right? But you can do all of that stuff yourself. And the cool thing about automations is that I figured out how to do all of that stuff by going into automations, following what AJ has taught us, right? And I just put it into action. I created a VA staffing agency from what I learned in the automations course. I just took it and I just ran with it, and I learned how to manage them. So we created a training process for them specifically for cleaning business owners, and specifically using the CBN CRM, which is provided for you if you join CBN, and absolutely if you join automations. So they know how to maneuver, they know how to work the CBN CRM, which is what you should be using if you're actually in CBN, because it does any and everything you could possibly think of. I run my entire business for the most part through the CBN CRM, and it helps me tremendously. I can look in there and I can do everything. I have my courses in there. I have my clients in there, all email campaigns, all my automations are in there. You can make calls through the CRM. It's so many things that you can do right from the CRM. Is absolutely amazing. And you're not spending all this money on all these other software, right? All this other software that we think we first get into the business, and we may be like, well, man, I got to get this software for scheduling. I got to get this software to communicate with my clients. I have to get this. No, you don't have to do that anymore. You can come right to the CRM. We've created automations that can help you kind of get rid of all those subscriptions that we have. And let's see, it says, gotcha, thanks, no problem. We have another comment. So from Jonathan Jones, hey, Andrew, this is Jonathan, and we spoke today. So excited to get started with your VA. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys giving my VAs a shout out. I really appreciate it. My VAs are absolutely amazing. But like I said, I learned how to do that, how to create that from automation. So I got to give my props and my shout out to AJ and the automations course for helping me learn how to do that stuff and just take it to the next level, right? And then be able to kind of give back and provide for not really a platform, but for a category of entrepreneurs that don't really get that help, that guidance, that kind of that leg up to say, hey, you have VAs out there, but they're not specific. Because when you go start searching, a lot of people, when you get a VA, they aren't really experienced in being a VA for a cleaning business, right? It's different. If you go and you do cold calling, right, for a real estate company, or you do cold calling for an insurance company or solar panels or anything like that, what they do is they call a list they get their list from some type of lead magnet or whatever, right? From that lead magnet, they'll call those people, because those people are actually warm leads, because they actually filled out whatever form that was that they wanted to fill out. They said that they were interested or whatever, and they went into a list. So they're calling this list, hey, we see that you were interested in this, that, and the other, right? And then they'll say, well, yeah, I did fill something out. I am interested, right? So they're warm leads. So they ask them qualifying questions. Once they ask those qualifying questions, guess what they do? They don't close the deal. Excuse me. They send them to somebody in sales that's going to close the deal. So when you talk to virtual assistants, they say they have cold calling experience. Excuse me. I beg to differ. It's not really cold calling. It's like warm calling. There are people that are already interested. When you come to VAs or you're cold calling for a cleaning business owner, you're calling people that have no idea that you're that have no idea that you're about to call. They didn't go into a lead magnet. They didn't say that they were looking for cleaning companies, right? So they're calling people that have no idea that they're about to be called and be asked if they wanted to do a walkthrough or anything like that, if they're looking for cleaning services. So the cold calling is a little different, but I didn't want to get off on a tangent on that. Let's keep moving on. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, the love with the virtual assistants. Thank you so much. Okay, next question or next comment. I'm excited about the subcontractor and client portal. Well, cool. I appreciate that. I'm trying to remember what we talked about last call, but what I can do, matter of fact, I don't know if AJ wants me to do this, but we're going to roll with it. He can yell at me later. All right. So I'm going to show you what we have been working on, and I'm going to see if that's something that you guys are kind of, if it's something that's value added. And I'm going to tell you why I did it before I even jump into what it looks like, right? And we got a few minutes. I'm going to go a little bit further. So to me, it was two things. I did a subcontractor one, and I did a client portal. The client portal is more of kind of a central location where they can communicate with you, right? Like with a lot of the software that's out there, they're basically CRM. They're like amped up CRMs that communicate back and forth with the clients and stuff like that. But with this portal, what it allows you to do, it allows the client to be able to go in and see, like, for instance, if you have inspections, so you do inspections. So we do weekly inspections and sometimes bi-weekly inspections and stuff like that. And we have it so that it's set up that whenever we do inspections, it gets uploaded into the client portal. And at any time, the client can go in and look at these inspections. The same thing goes for communication logs. If you've been in a cleaning company for, one of the larger companies or anything like that, or more organized companies, you go into the janitor's closet, there's a communication log in there, right? And you write in, like, say, for instance, you need more supplies, or they'll write in, hey, this area wasn't touched. Could you make sure it's taken care of? All of that's in the communication log, right? Well, we automated the communication log within the portal. So now our subcontractors or cleaners can go into the portal. They can fill out the communication log, right? And likewise, the client can go into the portal and fill it out. So either way, we get communicated on a more real-time basis, as opposed to having to wait till the next time you come in and service that location to see, oh, well, they need us to do this. Well, what, a day, 2 days, 3 days have passed since that's happened. If you do it in the client portal, it's real time. Whenever they submit it, it comes to whoever you have it assigned to come to, whether it's your VA that handles that stuff, that handles the admin stuff, or somebody in your staff. So we kind of automated all that stuff. Then we also have training and updates, kind of like, for instance, like right now, there's an uptick in flu and measles and stuff like that. That's something that we will put into the portal as a news update that they can see, and they'll know, hey, we need to pay attention to, this rise in, a health issue, right? So now maybe we need to reach out to our cleaning company and say, hey, can you guys give us a disinfection or something like that, just to kind of, ward off the possibility of somebody getting sick and stuff like that. I think these are absolutely imperative things that we need to kind of instill and to make us look, more professional. So I'm going to kind of go through real quick. We have somebody else that says me as well. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go through real quick and see if I can kind of show you a quick a quick viewing of the portal that we created, and to just make sure. So let me pause for a second. Okay, let's see if I can share this for you. I'm not as good at this as AJ, so please bear with me. Entire screen, boom. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to take you through this portal real quick. This is one created, actually done for the most part. This is one of my clients. Yeah, one of my clients. And so this setup, you see all of these channels right here, right? These are the channels that are going to be available to the subcontractor that's on duty and also to the client. So both of them have access to these. Over here on the side, these are all the accounts that I have. So these are all separate portals for each one of these. So whoever the subcontractor, whatever the subcontractor, whatever accounts that they have, that's the only things that they're going to see over here. So for instance, if they only have these two, that's what they're going to see over there. That's the only thing. So they're going to see all of these. The people that see these are my VAs and me, right? The clients are only going to see their portals. So the first thing right here is going to be, and I don't know if they didn't update it. Let's go to the template. I'll go to the template so you can kind of see what's already been included. And so here, this is where we'll have the tutorial on how to use the portal, because you want to kind of reduce the amount of questions that you're going to have. So this is where the portal is going to have a video explaining what each one of these sections are. Account information is mainly going to be for the subcontractor. So like alarm codes, trash, anything specific that was gathered from communication with the client, from your walkthrough, all that other stuff that's pertinent. When we're writing down all that information after we actually get the account, and we know the alarm codes, we know where the alarm is, we know where the trash goes, we know what areas not to touch and stuff like that. That's going to be in the account information. Your assigned team, so they're going to know what team is going to be on, going to be at this location at any given time, right? So they'll be able to go in there and say, well, who's cleaning our facility, right? Scope of work is going to be in there, so they can always go, because we've had so many questions of what's the scope of work, because people changed titles, changed jobs and stuff like that. And we have an account right now where new people have come in and they don't even know where the scope of work is. They don't know what it is. They don't know what we're supposed to be doing. So they say, well, can you do this? Well, that's not in the scope of work. They don't know what the scope of work is. So the scope of work is always going to be located here for them to kind of view. Service verification, that's an area where the subcontractor will go through and they will let us know when the job is done. They'll upload photos and pictures and stuff like that. And that will be confirmation that the job is done. And they can't close out a job until these are actually complete. Communication log that we discussed, that we talked about, for instance, is here. Let me show you what it looks like really, really quick. That's what it looks like. Sorry, hold on just a second. So that's what it looks like. But I'm not going to show you everything about it. That's more of automation. So we're going to go, when we go over to the automations, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to go through each one of these sections if I can get on there, and I'm going to break it down to you, right? And that's just to name a few things. And then it goes on, safety data worksheets, inspections, all that stuff is going to be in the client portal, right? So I think that's something that is value added. It makes things a whole lot easier for you to kind of consolidate into one area. You already have the CRM being in CBN, right? You have the CRM, which consolidates all your inner workings with your company, with your clients, with potential clients, with your staff and all that other stuff. But then when you get your clients and you want to kind of make your clients feel like they're your only client, to be honest, that's how I treat my clients. Like they're your only client. You want to make sure that they feel, okay, we're dealing with a professional company. We're dealing with a company that's, on the next level, or, they're climbing, they're doing great things, and everybody wants everything automated, right? Everybody wants to be able to go online or click a QR code and fill this stuff out. They want everything as easy as possible. They want to book online. There's so many things that they want to do. If you come up and you show something like this, letting them know, hey, we have transparency in what we're doing, right? You can go in here at any time, see who's in your facility. You can see, when we clean, you can see, any inspections that we have. You can see anything and everything. That's going to make you look a whole lot better than the other companies. I'm about to, close this out in a little bit, but I'm going to give you a story real quick that worked for me, right? I hadn't even created this yet at this point, but I told the client that I did. But I didn't lie, because I was actually working on it. But anyway, so it was this account. It's a large account. It's like a YMCA, right? It's in this area, and they called us in. They said they wanted to do a walkthrough. We did a walkthrough. We got a call back. They said, we want you to brief this to our bosses, which are the directors of the community, right? Community centers that it's involved with, right? Big time. And I didn't know that they were going to actually all be there. I didn't expect them to be there, but they were. So when I'm giving my briefing now you need to know this part. They didn't want to go with a cleaning company at all. They wanted to do, what do you call them? They wanted to do temps, right? Because they had temps and it was a lot cheaper, but they were having so many issues. But they did not want to go with temps. The directors didn't, but the actual operations managers of the actual facility did. So they brought us in. They said, you got to give a presentation. You got to pitch it, because we want to bring you in, but they don't want to spend the money. So I pitched it. And, in closing, I told them, I said, this is what we're creating for our clients. And I told them about the portal. And after the meeting was over, right, and they had all left, and they said, good presentation. We'll be talking to you. After the meeting left, they said that was one of the main things that kind of put us over the top because we were so professional. My presentation was really, really good. I didn't have as many ums as I have now as I did, when I was doing that. So don't think I did that. But they liked the presentation. They liked the portal. They liked the professionalism. They liked the feel of knowing that they're dealing with a company that is not just just starting out. Even though we're still relatively new, but we are on the upwards trajectory to kind of be in line with those bigger companies, right? We're not, we have to carry ourselves as if we belong in the room. And I carried myself as if I belonged in the room. I brought something that was more value added to them, and they went with it. So we have that client right now, and we're super excited about it. Shout out to them. All right. So before I go, I want to go ahead and kind of look at some of these, make sure I didn't miss anybody's comment real quick. I did that one. I appreciate you guys for actually, spending time with us today. Well, with me, AJ, I'm sure he's going to watch later. So I got that one, and I'm excited about stuff. Good. So I'm glad. So the subcontractor portal on this Cash Craze is pretty much the same thing. It's not as long, but it gives them, kind of more specific information, and it breaks down, remember when I was talking about the invoices, that invoice video and reminder is also in the subcontractor portal. Communication is in the subcontractor portal, and some other things that are in there that makes it really, really easy for you to automate as much of your business as possible. Me as well. Nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. Make sure I'm not missing anything because I don't want to leave anybody out. Looks good. Thank you. I appreciate you. That makes a lot of sense. So cool. It does make sense. Cool. I like that. I like the feedback. Thank you. And you guys are amazing. And Jonathan, is the portal going to be available? That's a good question. I have to chat with AJ and when we're going to do it. The way that I have it set up right now, I'm starting to use it. So we're doing some tests on it just to make sure there's no glitches or anything like that, but definitely really, really soon. And from our conversation that we spoke about earlier today, Mr. Jones, yeah, this is definitely something that will definitely benefit you and benefit everybody else here in the automation. So you guys, we really appreciate it. One more, definitely an advantage over a lot of other small companies, especially in my area. Absolutely. It puts you in another kind of stratosphere. It puts you on another, level when it compares to them. When you put you and them together and then you show, hey, we have our business automated, we have this, that, and the other, that kind of makes our business transparent, because they don't expect you to be 100% perfect, right? They just want to know that when something's wrong, they can contact you, because that's been a lot of the complaints or pain points for the clients that I have picked up, is that the companies that they have, if there's an issue, it takes forever to get in contact with somebody. They don't come and fix it. They don't know when they come in to clean their building. They don't know if they've even been there. So many things that can be fixed through being transparent and automating your business and having certain things so that the client knows, hey, what I'm paying for is what I'm getting, right? If not more. So it definitely goes a long way. So with that being said, man, I appreciate you guys taking the time to sit here with me and let me ramble on about some of this stuff. But I'm so excited about the automations course, because like I said, the automations course took my business to such a level that I had never even anticipated that it would be. And I came in just doing something, wanted to do something after I got out of the military, and I wanted to keep busy. And I got with CBN and I got with AJ Simmons, and then, I learned from him, and then we got into automations and I learned even more, and it's taken my business to levels that I never even anticipated going. Now, my vision for this business is there's no limit, right? Because I know the things that can be done just from being around like-minded people like AJ Simmons, everybody in Clean Biz Network. So hopefully, if you're not in Clean Biz Network, definitely get in Clean Biz Network. If you're not in automations, which is what this was all about in the first place, you definitely have to get into automations, Clean Biz University /automations, right? And definitely get in there and see where your business can go. You have to kind of, envision more than what you have to take it to the next level. So with that being said, you guys have a great day. I appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time.